Solve the factored polynomials on the right. Drag the correct answer to each problem. So we're going to be applying the zero product property to 4 different polynomials that are factored. So let's look at this first one. I'm going to rewrite it. X minus 3 and then times another x minus 3 equals 0. That's really what this first polynomial equation says, but I just wrote it out the long way. So here's what happens. You have x equals 0, you have x minus 3 equals 0, and then x minus 3 equals 0. So x equals 0, you know that's an answer. Add 3 to both sides. X equals 3. Add 3 to both sides here. X equals 3. So look what you get for answers. You get 0, 3, and 3. This is what's called a repeated 0, when you have a 3 and a 3. And you really only need to write it once. So the way you would write your answer is x equals 0, 3, like that. That's an increasing order. So you might be asking, well, why did I bother to write this out the long way when I know that x minus 3 squared is a repeated 0 and I only need to write the answer once? Well, I did this so you could see that there are 1, 2, 3 zeros, but one of them is repeated. And a repeated 0 is going to be an important concept later on in your mathematics careers. So just remember, you had 1, 2, 3 factors, 1, 2, 3 zeros, and one's repeated. So this one matches here. Okay, let's look at the next one. 2x, and then times x plus 3, times x plus 3, equals 0. So 2x equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, and x plus 3 equals 0. Now this one you might look at quickly and say, oh, it must be 2. Well, you know what? 2 times 2 doesn't make 0. You have to divide by 2, and you solve, get x equals 0, because 0 divided by 2 is 0. So x equals 0 is one of the solutions. X plus 3 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So x equals negative 3. And I'm going to subtract 3 again. X equals negative 3. So my answers are x equals 0 and negative 3. But I need to write them in increasing order. So I'm actually going to rewrite it as x equals negative 3, 0. Once again, I have a repeated 0 here. Negative 3 is repeated, but I only need to write it once. Okay, let's look at this next one. We have 3x times x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. So 3x times x minus 3, and then times x plus 2 equals 0. So I'm going to use a zero product property. I'm going to have 3x equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0. Now to solve this 3x equals 0, divide by 3 on both sides. So x equals 0 is one of your solutions. For x minus 3, I'm going to add 3 to both sides to get x by itself. So x equals 3. And then this x plus 2, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So x equals negative 2. So there are my 3 zeros. None of them are repeated this time. Put them in increasing order. X equals negative 2, 0, 3. So that matches straight across. Now let's look at this fourth one. We have 4x and then times x plus 3 times x minus 1, 0. So 4x equals 0, x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0. Divide by 4, you get x equals 0, because 0 divided by 4 is 0. Subtract 3 on the next one, you get x equals negative 3. And add 1 here, both sides, x equals 1. So my answer is in increasing order, x equals negative 3, 0, 1. So it matches straight across here. Now just a quick comment. You may notice a pattern where if you're looking at these factors and you say, oh, well, for example, I have a negative 3 here and an x plus 3 here, so all I need to do is take the signs and switch them and get my answers. Now there's a problem with that shortcut, and the problem is that students tend to forget to switch the sign. So they look at this x plus 3 and just say, oh, the answer is 3. And that's wrong because the answer is negative 3. So my advice to you, just do the steps that you need to do. Take your time, make sure you get the right answer.